You are listening to the Josh Astrop podcast. Hello, and welcome to the Josh Astrop podcast, episode number 118. I am Josh Astrop. Thank you for downloading the podcast. Don't forget to hit subscribe in iTunes so that you get the podcast as soon as I upload it. You can find the podcast on Facebook, on Instagram. Just look for the Josh Astrop podcast, nice and simple. It's also on YouTube. The video versions of the podcast are uploaded 24 hours after the audio version. So this is obviously out today, Wednesday, the 16th of May. So the video version will be out on the 17th. Yes. If you don't use Apple products or Apple Podcasts, whatever it's called. You can find this in Acast and Stitcher as well. They have a website where you can stream it from and also an app that you can listen to podcasts in. They're both available on iPhones and Android. So, choose your favourite. This week's guests, I should say, are a couple of guys I've known for a while. Ross and Geoff, they run a podcast called All My Friends Are Dead, and it's about, it's mainly, or loosely I'd say, about growing up in your 30s or being in your 30s and making your way to your 40s, I suppose. But really, it's about life, and it's about experiences, and it's about fitting in and working stuff out, and am I doing this right? And what I get from it's a really, really good podcast. I recommend that you download it. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. But yeah, it's about people's life experiences, whether it's gender issues, whether it's mortgage issues, whether it's technological issues, whatever it is. Really, it's about everyone sort of trying to do the best with what they've got and not really knowing whether they're doing is right and if it's the best option. I think it's really good. It's nice and reassuring and informative when you listen to some of the episodes about subjects you don't know much about. So I can't recommend that enough. Download it, listen to it. Nice and long episodes. Just like real conversations. So yeah, links to that podcast in the show notes. Also, something I don't think I've mentioned before. Have I mentioned it before? But it's one of the most important things to me about this podcast is that the episodes are unedited. So, I mean, you'll know that if you watch the video versions, there's no cuts. The start of the podcast and the end of the podcast, there's no cuts in between. So it's all natural, it's all free-flowing, it's all conversational. I haven't taken out ums and ahs or silence bits because, in my opinion, that's what makes it a real conversation rather than a 60-minute conversation condensed into 20 minutes with loads of jump cuts and no spaces and no breaths. And that's just, to me, unnatural and a little bit weird, really. Shorter videos, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, maybe that's suitable. But I'm trying to have real, actual conversations that normal people have about important things. And I'm trying to learn something from the people that I'm talking to about their life and their career and what they've been through and how they've done it. So I think those silent spaces, much like that silent space just then, that's when people think. So it's sort of an indication of how much they're thinking about what they're going to say and how significant it is. If it's a throwaway comment, you can say it quick, no problem. But if it means something and you really want to say something correctly and something from the heart, it's going to take you time to think about it. So I think that comes across well in a long-form conversation that isn't edited. So this podcast is unedited. I haven't picked out the juicy bits and left out the slow bits, perhaps. This is as it happened, and every episode has been. I can probably count on one hand the amount of episodes that I've had to take things out of where somebody's mentioned a name that they later thought, oh, maybe they didn't want me to talk about that person, so I've taken it out. But other than that, it's completely raw and completely real. So, yeah, it's the real deal, real talk. Yeah. Let's get into it. Follow the podcast, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, Acast. Just look for the Josh Astrop podcast. It's all there. Let's get into it. This is the Josh Astrop podcast, episode number 118 with Ross Sharp and Geoff Smith. So we're all recording and we're good to go.
Okay.
So there's that.
Wow.
Yeah. Right, Geoff.
Yeah.
Yeah. How am I looking? How am I looking, Mike?
Mike?
Yeah, Wire, isn't it? How do I look, Mike?
I don't know that.
Just where you get.
I know The Wire, but I don't. That's a very.
Yeah.
I haven't watched The Wire.
You've never seen The Wire?
No.
Oh,
Why?
Oh, mate.
That's my question. Is why?
Mate. Oh, mate, The Wire. Oh,
Yeah.
mate. Did you get?
I haven't watched Mad Men either.
mate.
No, I'm not.
The thing is, there's an endless list of
Every
things to
time
watch.
you say I haven't seen The Wire, I bet someone goes, "Oh, you got to watch The Wire."
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time.
Yeah, and normally people have watched Mad Men.
Yeah.
Nothing against it. I just haven't. I just like to if I've got 3 hours, I'll start watching something. But I don't want to watch one episode.
No.
It takes a
Okay.
few episodes to get into it, doesn't it?
But do you binge?
Yeah, I'll try to.
I can't do it. I go.
I can't do single
I
episodes.
saw 2-3 episodes and then I'm out. I tap out.
Yeah.
I'm not into it.
My attention span isn't what it used to be. Products of the internet age and MTV.
Yeah.
I can't focus on one thing for more of it. Give this half hour and I'll be out. I'll be gone.
Yeah.
I'll go and wander off.
Yeah, just
So something will
Get
catch
out
my
the window.
attention. Right? I'll just go.
So if you get up in about half an hour, we know exactly what's happening.
What's
yeah.
this over here?
My mate said the other day, well, a couple of months ago actually, he said, "Are you triple screening or something?" He was taking the mick. I was like, "What's that?" He said, when you're watching something and you're using your phone and then you've got your iPad or your computer."
wow.
I was like, no way. And then ever since then, I've noticed how often when I'm watching TV, I'll start looking at my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking stupid. I downloaded an app called Moments.
Oh, okay.
Really good, and it just logs everything
your
that you
activity
do
on your phone. Oh,
how
okay.
long you've had it unlocked or how long you've done this.
okay.
And it was shocking, you've opened Instagram 64 times today. Fuck
Yeah, but I mean, for you though, that's okay, right?
Well,
you can kind
no.
of justify it being a business owner.
well, yeah,
right?
but I could do it once. I could open it up in the
Yeah.
evening, post a picture, do a load of likes,
Yeah.
answer all the comments, and then close it. But no, I'm this bit of the movie is boring me. Let's see if there's something interesting on my phone.
Yeah.
So I need to stop
But
doing
then you
that.
lose track of what's going on in the film.
Yeah.
You've lost the story. And then you end up watching this film and then you go, I didn't really understand that film. It's really complicated.
Yeah.
It's just because you spent half the time on the
Yeah,
phone.
don't do that with Memento for the
Yeah.
first time or something like that because you will. Yeah, but if it's Paddington, you're going to be all right. I think.
Arguably, yeah.
Well, I don't know.
No, it's good though.
It's probably multi-layered.
Yeah.
I just deleted the Facebook app off my phone.
Yeah, I've been tempted.
I haven't deleted Facebook yet. I'm not ready to make that jump.
Yeah.
And Geoff was saying, is it because of Cambridge Analytica and all the rest of it? And no, it's Friday night at 11:30. I found myself arguing with the NRA.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah, I can't
What
do it.
you
And that's
doing?
that's sort of maybe a handful of times I've done something like that. I was like, why am I not just going to sleep? And, and it was about knife crime in London. And they were,
Yeah.
And,
They're trying to ban knives in England.
yeah. One of them was, what are you going to spread your jam and cream on your scones with, or scones, or whatever?
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah.
That's a valid question.
It is. What is a butter knife? Surely. You'd have to
I
really.
could do it with a spoon.
Yeah.
I could make do.
You can do it with your hands.
Yeah.
That's it. I think now with so much stuff at our disposal, like Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and all of it, and then just general websites, you can fill your time but not actually get anything done.
Yeah.
Not actually benefit yourself or somebody else by just scrolling, hoping that something's going to come along and interest you.
Pops out and you learn or educate yourself from
rather
it.
than I'm watching TV now because I'm watching something specific that I'm interested in. It's just put the TV on and keep going until something interests you.
Yeah.
And the longer it takes to find something, the lower that bar becomes what is interesting. So what are you doing?
It's always that fear of missing out, though. The longer you'll focus on one thing, your brain's starting to go, oh, I've got to check my social media, or I need to check my emails, or I need to check YouTube, or there's always grass always greener. There's always something else going on. You might be focusing on.
Yeah, and because there's so much going on, there probably is something more interesting somewhere.
Yeah.
It's the whole world. There's got to be something, right?
Even when you find something that you absolutely love, there might be something else that's even more interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a never-ending pursuit, isn't it? Yeah, it's difficult to become satisfied and content with not knowing what's going on. It doesn't change anything, even when you do. You know, at times there's been something on a gig or I don't know something, and I'm like, I don't want to go. But I should go.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like, all right, I'll go. And then I go, and it's just like, didn't really. Could have missed out on that, and I'd have been fine.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be going out to gigs.
No.
But quite often the motivator was, what if I don't go?
Yeah, you'll miss out on this.
But you're not,
That's one of the reasons I used to sort of like stay up late as a kid. Because I'd feel like it was going to be something I'd watch that was like cool.
Okay.
And then I could talk about it at school the next day and no one else had seen it because their parents had sent them to bed with no TV or whatever. Yeah. So you end up, so I still do that now, and hence being on the phone at 11:30 at night arguing with someone across the Atlantic. I'm like, I'm not getting anywhere doing this. And you rob yourself of your time.
Yeah.
Which is...
You do. It's good. I think it's good to waste your time sometime. Because you're working and then you've got to do this and you've got to do this. It's like, it's good to just do nothing or whatever. I'm going to play on the computer for 2 hours now. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. I like doing that.
Yeah, it's good to switch your brain off. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
To escape, whether it's through films or through Facebook or whatever it is, they're all equally as valid if they give you what you need.
Yeah.
But if you spend, like anything, you spend too much time doing it and it's meaningless.
That's true.
Not with podcasts, though. You can listen to podcasts all day long.
That's all I do at work. I just have my headphones in.
Oh, you can listen to stuff at work?
All day. Well, yeah, because my job, I'm sort of accountable to myself. I report into somebody like at the end of the week or the end of the day or whatever, like just spreadsheets and stuff. But for the duration of the day, I can just headphones in, listen to whatever it is I need to listen to, and away I go.
Do you worry about
always learning,
being seen as a bit antisocial though? Because
I think it's too late for that.
I do try and talk to people at work, but I know what you mean. The temptation is just stick your headphones in and get your head down. But
I haven't really thought about that.
Yeah,
I suppose I could get more involved with the people around me. But I've still.
I used to listen to stuff when my old job years ago, and I'd listen to stuff, and it looks a bit antisocial because it looks like you've got a sign that says "Do not disturb." But I don't know. It's a weird one, that, isn't it? You don't want to not listen to anything at work in case somebody thinks you don't want to talk, but then you don't want someone to think that equally.
But it's caught on around our office though. Like once we used to report into our UK company, and one of the UK rules was no headphones.
Right.
And then we started reporting into our European offices and stuff, and now that's allowed. So it's sort of caught on around the office, and everybody's not everybody, but like I say a third of the office have got their headphones in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
it's just phones ringing everywhere, and no one's picking up. So
oh no! Well,
notifications going
most
off
unproductive office.
Yeah. Funnily enough, we had our worst financial year last year.
Emergency call.
Yeah. Where do you work? Ambulance dispatch.
Yeah. Fire service, and everybody's just listening to Weekly Planet or something. I think podcasts you can justify spending so much time with though, because you're always learning. But then the other side of that is, you're antisocial, but you're not, because you might feel like you're socialising with the person you're listening to. Do you ever get that?
Yes,
I wonder what they've been up to, and I want to listen.
It's kind of a one-sided thing. It's an awkward thing, because sometimes when you're listening, you want to join in the conversation. But obviously it's completely one-sided. You can't actually do it. You're almost talking out loud. You're like, no, I'm just listening. I can't actually engage.
When somebody says something and they can't think of a word and you know the word, you're like, fuck it, it's this. Is it? Obviously it's not going to... It's funny, when I was talking to Stephen Bridges, who I've recorded a podcast with today, but will have been on the previous week's release.
Right.
He was saying, we were talking about listening to podcasts, and when you've got a podcast on and it's just talking and you've got headphones in, it is like you're in the conversation. It sounds like totally this does to us now. It's like, It's like you're speaking to friends or you're listening to friends, particularly with ones that are long and you've listened to a lot of episodes of.
That's right.
You know, you are, you know, it is antisocial to maybe listen to stuff in a public place, but it doesn't feel antisocial because you're sort of socialising, sort of.
Well, it's just the modern way of engaging, of keeping in touch. You know, technology has evolved so quickly over the years, but you keep in touch with your mates through Facebook, through social media, whatever. You're not actually face to face with people very often nowadays, and that's just the way people keep in touch now. That's just the new norm. So taking it a step further and having a one-sided conversation, almost just listening to a podcast.
Yeah.
It's like the next logical conclusion, really.
Yeah.
You know,
I think you're right.
People are doing this less often.
Yeah.
Like a face-to-face conversation is happening far, far less.
That's it. That's what I've said 1,000 times before on the podcast. I don't have long conversations with anyone apart from people that come on the podcast.
Yeah.
Even Hayley, you know, when we're at home, we're chatting and it's like half an hour maybe, and then we're doing something or there's other people, or you just don't have long conversations like you used to.
Mm-hmm.
It's been quite a strange experience in a way when we sit down and we talk non-stop for say 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's the most I've talked to anyone.
In weeks.
Yeah.
I really look forward to it though, because you do find yourself getting away from your friends because you've got. We've covered it a couple of times where you just sort of occupy yourself with other means, and you have other things keeping you at home.
Yeah.
So you don't go to the pub as much to socialise with your mates, like because you're like, well, they're only a message away, and I can send them a funny GIF or whatever. And then you're like, oh, I've spoke to that person today. Yeah. You've sort of ticked that box. You've achieved that communication. Yeah. And let's move on to something else.
So one of the things we notice, we were talking about, you know, what it means to be in your 30s, how that's different to when you were younger. And you are socialising less and less. And there's a few reasons around it. But one of them is there's so much just keeping you at home nowadays. Like, as we've got older, you know, the internet wasn't a thing when we were kids. It suddenly was a thing. But now you can just stay in and you can listen to all the music in the world, watch any TV show ever, watch any film ever. It's like
online courses as well, so it's not even like as a social tool anymore. It's you can learn on your own and at home, away from people. You're not in a lecture or any of these things.
You are keeping in touch with people through social media, so there's not as much of an incentive to actually go out and speak to people. Yeah, because you know what they've been up to through Facebook and whatnot. So much keeping you at home, like cocooned in, and you just make it out far, far less often.
I think we're fooling ourselves, really, thinking that it's the same thing. I think we need human contact. We need to speak to people and see their faces in reality and not on a screen. I think we need that, but we think we're getting it with even phone calls or text messages or whatever. I think we think we're getting it, but it's definitely. I mean, the having a discussion with somebody over a text message versus in person is so different. Yeah. But then when it comes to like, oh, I haven't spoken to so-and-so in a lot, I'll just send them a quick message. We seem to think that that's all right. That's the same thing. It's not the same thing. No. And you really notice a difference. So when you're working a lot or whatever and you're not socialising and, you know, it builds up over time and you start to realise, I haven't done anything. I've just gone to work and gone home for 2 weeks or whatever. Yeah,
it's weird sometimes. Yeah, when you do make it out to the pub and you haven't seen him, you know, mate, 3-4 weeks, whatever. You say, "Oh, what have you been up to?" And you struggle to actually come up with anything
because you kind of already know. Yeah, if you're on social media and you've got that communication there.
Yeah, there's no new news.
I do find that like we get together with like all a bunch of our old mates, in much the same way as you get together with your old mates and stuff, and you're like. There's a difficult period of like 10, 15 minutes where you're warming up. Because you're not used to seeing each other as much as you should do.
You go through the normal, you're
how
right, what you've been doing.
Got a new car.
How's the job?
Dogs,
and then
all right.
you get all of that out of the way and then you're like, right.
What are we doing
now? We know everything.
And it feels a bit awkward at times because you're not seeing your mates as much. When you see each other every day or whatever, you're at college or whatever, you know, you could have more in-depth conversations because you're always up on whatever everyone was doing. But now I think you almost feel bad for engaging in small talk with your best mates. Yeah. It's like, this is something you do with strangers.
This is too formal.
Yeah. She sat there at a pint with someone you've known since you were kids and you go, oh, how's work? You know, oh, it's been cold lately, hasn't it?
Yeah.
This is fucking ridiculous.
Taxi driver conversation.
This is stupid.
I know exactly. That's exactly right. You have those little conversations and I don't know. It's strange because you're both doing it.
Yeah.
And you probably both feel the same way.
Yeah,
Why are we doing this?
But once you get warmed up, you go back into a proper conversation.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes when people say to me, I mean, maybe I'm being a bit miserable, but when people say to me, how's work or whatever, I'm like, yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Like, look.
Oh, yeah, you just want to get out of the way.
We're not really that interested. I don't expect you to be interested in my job. It's absolutely fine. I still love you. It's all good. Just let's get rid of that. I don't care about your family. I don't care about your job. I don't care about your house. You all right? That's what it is.
You keep talking. I'll go to bed, get another one. And then, we'll come back.
I mean, that sounds obviously really harsh, but it's like, as long as you're all right, and that's all good. It's fine. It's fine. That's what we're here for.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
And do.
I guess that's where you're having your real conversation in this kind of a setting where it's off the cuff and you're actually speaking your mind a little bit more. But one of the things we've been talking about is you are doing so much of your communication and keeping in touch online through social media and whatever. It's not the actual person you're keeping in touch with. It's a very heavily edited version of that person. He's only putting up a very certain kind of post, certain kind of photographs, profile pictures only a certain way. You're presenting like a very fake edited version of yourself. And so it could be years where you haven't actually seen that person in real life. And you're kind of thinking you're keeping up with what that person's up to, but it's this strange fake version of that person. And you actually do catch up with them and you're like, this isn't the person I've been sold
totally
over
different.
the last few years. And it's quite a dangerous way of keeping in touch.
And you limit the way that you interact with that person because you've stopped knowing other things about them and what they're like, their personality and things, and you've only seeing their best representation of themselves online. Weird.
I think we
Generally.
do. I think we're all, I'm guilty of it. Like, you only post the best picture. You're the one where you think you look the best, or is the best representation of how you want to be seen, which quite often isn't reality. I think that's one of the things that stopped me from doing video for a long time, actually.
Oh, you weren't ready to look at yourself?
I thought, I don't want to, it's too vulnerable, too open.
Unedited, you're throwing us out
exactly,
there.
As it was all totally unedited. It took me 105 episodes, or however many it was, to realise that, oh no, it's okay. It's stupid, really. It's like, what, how different are you going to be? It's fine. But
I planned my outfit last night though, so
I was saying this to, I don't know whether it was last week's episode or the one before, and I was like, someone said, "Oh, you're videoing it now." I was like, "Yeah." I have actually started to think, what did I wear last week? That I don't wear this, because I have a very small wardrobe, so I regularly wear the same thing.
You do like the Steve Jobs thing where you wear the same thing every. You don't have to think about it.
I basically do.
Make it a brand.
So but then I think, well, who's watching them in sequence? Not many people, and who's even going to notice? And so what if they do? I haven't got a stylist. I haven't got nobody chooses an outfit for me. I don't have different clothes every week. Not yet. It's like, these things really don't matter. So what if you wear the same? Who gives a shit? But I thought about it, and I was like, what did I wear? And then I was thinking, that's ridiculous.
Do you ever think people might, like, if you go down the route of like getting sponsors, you might have to start wearing somebody's shirt? Have you thought about that? Like, you let your mind wander. When you do things, you're just like, oh, I wonder how many people will listen to this, or how many people will view it and stuff. You're like, oh, but if I tapped up to this, I could get like a free sweet T-shirt and stuff.
I don't know. I don't think I would do anything like that. No. I think that's stepping. I wouldn't mind having a sponsor, having advertisements. It'd be nice.
But wearing something stepping outside of being you, isn't it?
I think so. Anything like that. Either saying something that's not true, or somebody else choosing what I wear or what I say. I think that's weird. I think that's weird. Well, fuck it. I might just get McDonald's to do it and make loads of money. Eat
cash
McDonald's
out,
kids. I don't know.
I think that's going back to it. Like, that's the beauty of a podcast, though, is that you can have the long form conversation and you can be you. I like the first couple of episodes, I really had to force myself to be myself.
Not say what you thought sounded good.
Exactly. And I think that helps. For me, that helps having him here, because me and Geoff have known. I've known Geoff since I was like 16, probably a little bit younger.
Maybe younger,
Michael. And so it took me a while to go, no, stop putting up that front, and you get there in the end. And so I was sort of moving away from the best representation of myself and just saying
it's
me.
Putting yourself out there is quite tough because
scary.
It's Ross's idea to do the podcast, and he was asking me, and I was kind of quite reticent to do it. So I'm naturally quite introverted. I'm a little bit shy.
Bullied him basically.
We met up and we kind of said we'll do almost like a pilot. We'll give it a go, see how it goes.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting like quite a pressured environment. He got his phone out and he just pressed record and he said, "I've just introduced it and we'll go."
Yeah.
And within 30 seconds, it's just
you're in it.
You're having a chat.
You can. That's why I like longer episodes, because you can present yourself as like, I'm this whatever I think I am, but you can't do it for that long.
No, it's hard.
You can. If we're having a conversation about stuff, like if you're a musician that comes in here, if you're here to promote your latest album and talk about you and your career, it's like, yeah, you can do that. But as soon as I start saying, "Oh, did you see that thing on the news?" That's so off topic. You can't do that in character.
Yeah.
So you have to give out your own opinion.
Because like someone who's a musician, or they're an act.
Yeah.
And they might be portraying a certain type of act that they are, like a bluesy like soul man. He's like, oh yeah, he's in league with the devil as his act.
Yeah.
But then you ask him about, whatever.
Yeah.
And he hasn't, or she hasn't, or whoever hasn't manufactured an answer in their head, and you got them off guard straight away.
That's it.
So it pushes you to be yourself, which is quite nice. It's been quite cathartic in a way.
Yeah,
do you find the same thing?
It's not dissimilar to therapy.
Yeah,
I don't think really. It's just talking about stuff, and we're in this. We're here, and we know we're here for a bit. I don't know, half an hour, 2 hours, or somewhere in between, and it's like, well, you can't be short. So you got to keep talking. So you got to just let it flow, and you can't do prepared cool one-liners for an hour.
No.
And no matter how hard you try, so inevitably you just you have to just fill it with real bits and like what you're actually thinking rather than edited what you're thinking.
I found that hard. We had 2 episodes. The health episode.
Yeah.
So we talk about like physical health, mental health. And then we had an episode with Lynette, was our last one. Yeah. So we had an episode based around like the female perspective of growing up.
Yeah.
And like nostalgia, bad points, good points, and all that sort of stuff. And you find yourself thinking out loud and not correcting yourself. And you're like, well, I'm just going to put it out there and see what comes back. And
that's a difficult one, because that's potentially a dangerous subject to talk about. You could quite easily offend a lot of people.
I was terrified.
So it's good that you don't
I get anxious doing it anyway, because you don't know what's going to come out your mouth. Like we've got certain like notes that we want to hit, and certain like topics that we kind of want to brush over or go through, and you're not sure what you're going to say, because I don't know what he's going to come with. And like I said, like especially how. What was it, third wave of feminism we were talking about? And like transgender rights and trans rights in general. And I don't know a lot about it.
No.
But I'm not out there to try and upset anyone. So like, but you've got to say what you need to say, and just whatever comes.
If you come in at something with the best of intentions, there's a bit of leeway, isn't there? You might say the wrong word, you might phrase something in the wrong way, but you're talking through. I mean, we talk through everything from quite frivolous subjects, from like TV, whatnot, right through to like mental health and feminism and how things have changed over the years. There's leeway there, because we're not coming at it in a derogatory way or in a flippant way. It's
context, isn't it?
We're trying to get to the bottom of these things.
I can't help myself with a dad joke though.
But eventually you're gonna
slips out.
That's fine. It's like, and you know what it is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not like somebody's going to hear that and think you're being serious.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to you text somebody something. There's no tone.
No.
If they hear you,
no context,
and especially if they can see you, your body language and stuff, and hopefully people are like, all right, I get it.
I think you can pick it up from your tone of voice, especially with something like this. I mean, you can see us as well.
Yeah.
You can see that we're coming at things respectfully or whatever, if you're trying to discuss, these kind of subjects. But I think context is really important. People are very, especially now online, so much communication is just going out through social media, out of context, one-liners, that kind of thing. Everyone's quite afraid of offending people, and people are very quick to take offence. And it just makes it difficult to have these conversations sometimes.
I think if you just accept that people are learning all the time,
Yeah.
you've got to allow people to time to catch up with
I think
what they don't know.
I can't remember being offended.
No?
Ever. Like, that's really offensive. Because I think people that say, like, people that are like racist or homophobic or whatever, xenophobic, it's like, well, you're stupid. So that's not a real opinion.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's not, that's like, no, whatever. You know, it's like not, I think for me to be offended, I'd want to, I don't know, maybe talk to them and say, but I think you're coming from such an irrational, wrong point of view. I can't be offended about that because it's just not true.
You almost discount it. So if you get to the lower end of the internet, you know, the comment sections and whatever, people
the
dirty bottom of the internet,
the grime,
you know, there's a conversation going on and people are trying to get to the bottom of something, trying to discuss something rationally, and then someone just comes in, you just discount them like a troll. You know, that's people. We've come up with this term for it, trolling. You know, someone will come up and say something obviously offensive, and you just discount it. You skip that, and we'll carry on. I know what you mean. It
doesn't justify a response or an opinion. It's like
you don't keep it with you.
Yeah, that doesn't count. It's like,
I think a lot of people do though, and that's
the problem. But you're giving it power by discussing it and engaging with people. Yeah. But then
it's important not to ignore it though.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. These you know, the answer, in my opinion, is to convince them that they're wrong. What are the chances you can do that? I think it's very slim because they're not coming from a place of, you're trying to reason with somebody that's not using reason
to get there. People,
it's like, it's just not going to work. I don't know what the answer is. And we should be allowed to say what we want, even if it's wrong, or some people think it's wrong. They have just as much right to say what they want as I do. Yeah. But I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things we were talking about is, the internet has fueled it. The internet has fueled everything. Social media has fueled everything. It's just accelerated everything. So conversations can be had online so quickly. Things can move on so quickly. If you think about, say, transgender kind of issues, you've gone in just a few years. Like it was a punchline back when we were kids. Yeah. You know, think of the end of Ace Ventura. You know, the character is revealed to be transgender, and the punchline is Ace Ventura goes off, throws up into a bucket, washes himself with bleach. So you've gone from that to now, you know, Caitlyn Jenner a couple of years ago. Everyone understands things a little bit better, so that whole movement has been had online, and it's so quick. People can have these conversations so quick, share ideas so quickly. Yeah. But the other end of that is people will try and derail that as well. You get the trolling and the abuse online.
Being able to give an opinion anonymously.
Yeah, it's absolutely. Yeah. So it's great. Things move so quickly and usually in a very progressive way. Yeah. But there's always people trying to use the same means, the same kind of platforms to drag you back as well. Yeah. So it's this constant like tug of war. Yeah. It moves in one direction. But you do also have to put up with it getting pulled back every now and again.
Yeah, I think that's it. But hopefully it is moving in the right direction, even if it's coming. I think it is. I feel like...
It's what we say at the end of every episode. It's like, we think everything's okay.
Yeah.
We're going the right way.
I think it's better.
But then are we saying that because we hang around with people that agree with us?
So you've got an echo chamber.
Yeah. So at what point do you want to engage with people that disagree with you? But then if you think you're right and everyone does think they're right, why do you go out seeking what you think is the wrong?
But the fact we're talking about these things is probably evidence that it has moved on in a positive way, because we never even used to have the conversation.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? So no one was talking about transgender issues when we were kids. No. It wasn't a thing. No. But now everyone's quite aware of it.
It's like when we talked about depression and we were like, when Kurt Cobain died, and it's more... Geoff remembered it way better than I did.
I was a bit older, I guess.
And he was like, well, what's he got to be depressed about? He's the world's biggest rock star. Yeah. You know, well, no, we're way past that now, where we understand that it does not matter how many zeros are in your bank account. Yeah. Or whatever.
It was just a synonym for sadness when I was a kid. Like depression was sadness. Yeah. So I was like, why is he sad? Why is he... Yeah. It's so much more than that. And it's over the years we've had these conversations and stigmas have been lifted. And particularly the last just few years, I think things move so quickly online. Yeah, and it's fueled a lot of the time by celebrities. So you know, you had a few years after Kurt Cobain, Britney Spears had a very public meltdown. Yeah. And then people started to have these conversations. Well, actually, why is she acting this way? What does that mean? A few years after that was Amy Winehouse, and people were a lot more respectful after that.
Yeah.
And then you reach nowadays Justin Bieber. I mean, Justin Bieber cancelled the tour because he was having mental health issues.
Oh, did he?
It was like the world's most famous musician was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm out. I
Top
can't
of
do
the
this
top
right.
of the
And
pyramid.
everyone was just
yeah.
incredibly supportive. So in the space of 15, 20 years, you've gone from no one really understanding what depression, anxiety
And thinking
is.
you're like weaker for it.
Yeah. To
yeah.
the biggest pop star on earth going, look, I'm having these issues and I need to pull this tour. Think of all the logistics and the money and everything that goes into a stadium worldwide tour. And people are, okay, yeah, no, we understand, we get it.
Yeah.
And that's an incredible place to be.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good example, Justin Bieber, you know.
You familiar with Justin Bieber, Geoff? you look like you're not.
Someone who is the most famous, probably the richest or getting there.
Yeah.
You know, he's got money, he's got fame, he's got a creative job,
Yeah.
you know, which in many ways is sort of therapeutic and cathartic or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's got all of these things that are deemed to be positive, but he's not happy.
Yeah.
Or he wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, you don't. You hear it so often. People say, "Oh, you know, I got $1 million or whatever," and I still wasn't happy. But we still think. I think the thing there is with money, we all want to be comfortable. We don't necessarily. We want $1 million or whatever because we want to not have to worry about paying rent.
Yeah.
And not have to worry about buying something that we want that's maybe a little bit, you know. So we think having $1 million gets rid of all financial stress.
Yeah.
Which it would, but then obviously there's more to life than financial stress.
Yeah.
That just might be the most important thing.
I think I'd still filter online by the sale, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
I think, you know, the love of a bargain I don't think would change if you had $1 million or you got 10 quid.
Can't get your reductions at the end of the night in the supermarket.
You don't want to waste money. No.
No.
Yeah, it's I think mental health is a good one for showing how far we've come and how.
Does Meg still do the Crazy Talk podcast?
No, she hasn't done it for a while now.
Oh, okay.
I think she did, I don't know, 10, 12 episodes, maybe, something like that. That was interesting.
I listened to one or two. They were,
Yeah, they were great, and they were mental health and varying aspects of mental health, and people that are at different stages in their lives of success or whatever. And
Vice do a really good. Sorry, go on.
No, what?
I'm cut. I have a habit of doing that.
No.
So Vice do a really good one, all based around mental health, and it's all sort of 18 to 30 demographic. We're outside of that demographic by the number, but you know, you're only as young as you feel. Yeah. And it's what they say.
I'm much older then. 65 maybe.
But I can't let go of the apprehension that like someone's going to judge me for something like that. So I think it's incredibly it's brave, isn't it? Like you're just out there. I don't think if I was in somebody like Justin Bieber's situation, I could probably admit that to the wider public.
Well, I think that's the thing with a newer, younger generation. You know, we're still in that place where we grew up. Our formative years were kind of spent at that time where it wasn't discussed and there was
Quite
still
private.
a stigma around it.
Yeah.
Whereas even someone, I don't know, how young Justin Bieber is, 15 years, maybe younger. He's grown up in a time where people are a lot more accepting. That stigma's been lifted.
Yeah.
It's much easier, perhaps, for a younger person. It's still obviously very, very difficult, but it's easier, I think, than an older person perhaps to talk about it.
Yeah, he's not, and I mean, how can we expect Justin Bieber to be a regular guy? Someone who's had an irregular life. We're expecting him to be so down to earth when he's like never had a down to earth life.
No,
he's never, you
can't
popped
expect
to the
it,
corner shop to pick up some milk.
It's the same way with like Michael Jackson. It's like you can't. You've got to expect that a good percentage of people who've grown up in celebrity and superstardom, they're not going to be well adjusted to the demands of what me, you, or any other bugger goes through. Really, Can you say bugger?
Well, I said fuck earlier. So.
I did you?
Yeah.
I thought you meant like as a phrase. Is it still acceptable?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
I don't know. Actually, thinking about it, maybe it's not.
That's what I mean. Like
bugger.
When we're having those difficult podcasts, like the female one and the mental health one, it's like, you know, what can you and can't you say anymore?
Yeah.
But like you say, as long as you're positive in the way that you're approaching a subject, you can probably get away with saying a few things that are not up to date, so to speak.
Because there's words you used to say all the time when you were kids, and they stick with you. They become part of your vocabulary. They become ways you describe situations or whatever.
Yeah.
now suddenly these conversations happen so quickly online, coming back to that. Suddenly it's like, no, that word is not cool anymore.
Yeah.
But you still involuntarily say it.
Yeah.
And you feel terrible for saying it.
It's hardwired, isn't it? It's like when you've said something for 20 years and then one day you hear, you can't say that word anymore, you've got to delete it from your memory. It's like, it's not easy.
Yeah, it's tricky.
You can forgive somebody for that,
I
think.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you sometimes have like a mild Tourette's? Like when I hear something that somebody says, so as a part of me, sometimes I have to really fight to not say the un-PC thing. But it's not because I'm out to upset anyone. I was just
it's funny.
the devil's advocate, the black to the white, the flippant, side of the coin.
I heard Russell Brand say, strange reference to make, but Russell Brand say, I don't know whether it was an interview or a stand-up or something, and he said, I was sitting having a cup of tea with my nice little old nan, and she was just asking me about, how are you getting on, Russ, how's work and stuff, and he said, I was thinking, I could just chuck this cup of tea right in your face and you wouldn't be able to do anything. And then I'm like, and his point was like, you have these crazy thoughts, but it's, and I thought, thank God he said that, because I have thoughts like that all the time.
Okay.
Like, and obviously you're not going to act on it, but it's just these things like, what's the worst thing I could do right now? Laughing at a funeral and stuff like that. If I did that, that's the worst thing. And then it's in your head. It's like there's a little devil on your shoulder going, go on, do it. But it's like, okay, I'm normal. People have fucked up thoughts, but the difference between somebody who does fucked up things and think is big. Yeah. And you know where the line is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the same thing, you have these thoughts of calling somebody a horrible name.
Yeah.
It's just that temptation of power. If I use this weapon.
The weapon.
Yeah. You know what I mean? This word will destroy you. But you can't do it.
Someone who's really good at it is your brother.
Oh, right, yeah. He's got no filter, has he?
No filter. Yeah. No filter whatsoever. We were at the height of the election on the way back from Interpol, weren't we?
Oh, that's right.
The general election. And I'm sitting there, we're all a few beers deep on the train on the way home. And Smithers is just goading the entire train around him, like with just Tory propaganda. And it's like, it's all young people, so you generally think that most young people who might have been to an Interpol gig probably veer to the left a little bit politically. Yeah. And he's just saying all of these inflammatory things. And I was sitting there just going, I just can't hold myself. And then Geoff turns to me and goes, he didn't even vote. So he's been going on for half an hour acting on what you think you shouldn't say. Yeah. And he just goes off because he's
just an online troll, but sat next to you. A physical troll.
A physical manifestation of a troll, I
think he just likes winding Russ.
I think probably. I think everybody has a friend like that, though. Who's like, or like your weird uncle or whatever it is. He's like, But like you say, you can't expect someone of 20 years saying something or feeling something or thinking something to just go and it not happen anymore.
It's tough.
You're like my nan still calls the corner shop the shop. You're like, Nan,
you can't do that. Yeah.
She's like, no, just no. But she's 85. What am I going to tell an 85? How am I going to tell an 85-year-old how to live their life? Yeah, I'm not even going to get to 85. Yeah. So how am I going to give you advice on getting on what you should be doing there?
Yeah. It's a funny one, and it's hard. It's not hard, but it's tricky because it's constantly changing. Obviously it's heading in a good direction, but it's difficult to be aware of these things. But like we said, like we know we're not trying to offend people. Yeah. If something does, it's accidental, and you're entitled to be offended. It's fine.
Entitled to be offended.
Yeah, I think
this is what I mean. Can you say entitled? Are people supposed to have an entitlement?
You're welcome to be entitled.
You were.
But if you, I think, some people are going to get offended, aren't they? Some people want to be angry about something. I think you can't filter yourself that way.
You shouldn't have to.
I don't think you can if you're saying something you think is right and something that you don't think or don't mean to be offensive. Yeah. If somebody does get offended, it's not your fault. I don't think.
Mm-hmm. If you are passionate about an issue, it's important to say what you feel, what you think, because otherwise things don't change. Yeah. But there's always going to be people, like say, you're moving in one direction, but there's always going to be people pulling it back slightly. Yeah. But what's the alternative? You just stay as you are forever. Because there's people unhappy. There's people unhappy at the end of the day.
It's quite damaging to not say what you feel.
You do have to move But the difference is, I think when we were younger, you didn't have the internet to spread these conversations, to have that method of talking things through. Everything was like on a much smaller scale. So things tended to move that much slower. Whereas now suddenly you've had that online boom.
Yeah.
Where everyone can have a global conversation very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, it's like, no, we've decided we're doing this now.
Yeah.
Whereas before, it might have took a decade.
Yeah.
I mean, it is that quick.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, we're a global community. It's instant contact with anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
You're changing the format of your podcast to change the subject, but I wanted to make sure we talk about it. What are you doing and why are you doing it?
Oh, well, we started it because Geoff was... we got a friend who runs like a Sunday League blog or like an amateur... Like a 90s football blog or something?
Fantasy football blog,
fantasy football blog. And Geoff wrote something that was quite witty, quite insightful. And I was just like, don't just write it down. Like the blog for me, the written word is disappearing.
Right.
I think. I'm not, TLDR. Like, I'm not going to read like a 3,000 word blog on something that might not be interesting. It's a lot of time.
Yeah.
Whereas a podcast for me is like a very sharp way to like jump in and jump out of a conversation and keep yourself engaged. And so I did that sports one, like 1 or 2, 3 episodes or whatever it was, and I was like, this is too niche for me. I need something more affable, I suppose.
Yeah.
And so I spoke to Geoff and I was like, should we just piss and moan for a few episodes about things that we did in our youth that aren't the same as when we're in 30s? So that was the idea generally. So we picked like film and music and telly and what else, sports and...
Yeah, all sorts. Yeah, technology we did a bit later, didn't we?
So that was sort of like a jumping off point, having subjects. So I think we're going to go away for like a few weeks, revise something in not too dissimilar from not every other podcast, but like where it's just us two, like a mini episode maybe, and then get a guest in. Yeah,
I think we started this podcast where we wanted to get to the bottom of something. We wanted to understand what it meant to be in your 30s, understand how the world around you has changed and your place within it. Because I think it's interesting to look back on your life in years, 10-year blocks. You have your 20s and then you move into your 30s. Yeah, things change so much. Yeah, and we're in our mid to late 30s now. It's quite an important time of your life.
Mid.
It's huge. Yeah.
Hey, man.
Well, I'm late. So
we're in our early to late 30s.
You guys are young. So we set out to kind of understand that. And I think now we've talked through about 40 odd hours.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And I think we've gotten to the bottom of quite a lot.
Do you?
Well, I don't.
Well,
I still think we do.
Yeah, even if you haven't solved it, you've gotten closer than you were.
Understand. And I think we're talking about podcasts like this being a bit therapeutic, a bit like a therapy session. I think I understand what it means to be in your 30s a little bit more than I did when I started.
Well, you have we sort of got like so many friends who are like a little bit disenchanted with being in their 30s. They're not. They've got a few more aches and pains, and they've got and they're sort of no clearer on their position. And for me, that's kind of true. I'm a little bit like I'm in my 30s, and I haven't really sort of got to where I thought I might get. But that's okay because where I am is still something that I've achieved. And so without the podcast for me, like you said, like a therapy type thing, it was quite nice to hear and see and dig down into other people's like opinions and other things that you might learn. You're not on your own. It's all right to be like a little bit unsettled being yourself. What you might have been like some child prodigy, but then how far is painting flowers going to get you if you're not dead and your name's Van Gogh? So it was quite nice to just sort of realise that it's all right not being where you're supposed to be as long as you're still putting that one step in front of the other. That's how I've seen it a little bit.
I think you're right. That's one of the things I've learned from speaking to different people that have done all kinds of different things with varying degrees of success. And some people that I think have nailed it and are doing amazingly, and I would love to be in there, and they still have exactly the same thoughts as someone who's just lost their dream or whatever.
Well, success is like such a broad term. And for a lot of people, like success is $1 million in the bank or a Jaguar on the drive or not much of a mortgage, or they own their own house and stuff. And I'm a renter, but people look at me like I've not achieved something because I don't have a mortgage. It's like, but that just means I owe someone else more money than I do every month. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it was nice to just go, I'm all right. Everything's kind of ticking away.
But we have very similar problems. A lot of our problems are the same.
Yeah.
But we are different people and we want different things. Yeah. And you know what I mean? I think they say compare, despair. That's what it is. If you compare yourself to things, it's just not going to go well.
Oh, I did.
And it's hard. I now think it's impossible to not compare yourself to people.
No,
you shouldn't, because nothing good comes of it, and you are not them, so you cannot compare yourself to anyone. But you do. You think, oh well, I was speaking to somebody the other day, 10 years younger than me, just buying their first house, and I'm thinking, fucking hell, how have they done that? They inherited some money, so and I thought, you bastard. And then I thought, no, hang on a minute. I thought, good for you.
Yeah.
If I was in that position, I'd love to, great. And it's not your doing, and that's some good fortune come your way.
I have some old friends I don't really speak to anymore, like old people I know. And I remember I inherited some money and, I squandered it. Like, that's my own fault. I was in my 20s and I fucked it. And I remember at the time, like, they sort of were on my case that I had that money. I was just like, no, I'd rather my granddad be around. Like, do you know what I mean? And you sort of but that's what people do. They compare themselves because they don't have something. So it's envy or jealousy, whichever one it is applicable. It's not. Yeah. It doesn't, just because I have it doesn't mean you can't, or doesn't mean you. What am I trying to say? I don't really know what I'm trying to say. But it's like,
but you didn't choose it.
No.
And you're not going to turn it down.
Yep.
Because that's what the person that earned it wanted.
Yeah.
They wanted you to have it. And you're going to go, no, I don't want it. Give it to my mate who's pissed off.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
What do you want me to do? Write you a cheque?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck off, mate.
It's...
unless obviously you were really desperate. And then obviously I'll be like, oh, God, he's got a crack addiction and I need to help him out. Or whatever it is.
That's it. You just cannot compare yourself. Well, I think now I've been aware of that for a few years, that you shouldn't compare yourself to people. So now I do compare myself, but then immediately I think, don't be stupid, you can't compare yourself to people. So it's okay to do it.
But it comes back again to who are you comparing yourself to? Because if you're comparing yourself to celebrities or people through social media, again, it takes it the next level up where you're not even comparing yourself to reality anymore.
No, that's an edited version.
All the game has shifted slightly. Everything's a little bit uneven and false now, and it's difficult to find your place in the world nowadays because you don't know where you are in comparison to anyone else. Because nothing is real. So that's
you
know what I mean?
That's kind of like half of why we started doing the podcast. Is like, where are we in the world? And if I have somebody I know who's like my friend who's kind of feeling the same way that I'm feeling, that should take the pressure off.
Yeah.
Because everybody does have a pressure. Like you compare yourself to your parents, or you compare yourself to your friends, your peers, your inspirations and things. And like, I mean, you have people practicing music here all the time, and I bet they're comparing themselves to, X, Y, and Z guitarist, singer, and or drummer or whatever. Yeah. You're like, you can't do that because a lot of that is circumstance. Yeah. And a lot of that is luck. Yeah. You have luck,
particularly with music and things. Exactly. It's not. It doesn't matter how good you are all the time. It's
sometimes you have to be in the right place and you're in the wrong place, and that's fine. It's like, but we're kind of there. Yeah. I feel a lot better now.
I do.
Which is nice.
I think it's really interesting. We set out to understand what it means to be in your 30s, and you have these vague. It was always vague. These vague kind of feelings, like we were confused. Yeah. And we were out of the loop, and all of these different things. It's been really nice to drill down every subject we talk through. Yeah. To kind of get to the bottom of why do you feel out of the loop? Yeah. And you get to these answers, which makes a lot of sense. We were talking about why do you feel out of the loop, and there's a couple of reasons. I mean, you're coming home after a day at work and you're not keeping up with the most recent music. We're both big music fans. In our 20s, we had all the time in the world to pick up music magazines. We'd be online. We'd be going to gigs 3-4 times a week, whatever.
You DJ'd, I played in bands.
We were always on the cutting edge of things. Nowadays, I'm 37. I'm coming home from work. I'm exhausted. I haven't got time to be online on SoundCloud and whatever, Bandcamp, looking at new bands. Because I haven't got that time and energy to invest in it anymore. Yeah. And part of it, we found out, something that kept coming up a lot was, your formative years, were your mid-teens to maybe mid-20s, where you're forming the sort of person you're going to be. You're like a sponge, you're soaking in all of this culture, music, TV, film, all of that sort of stuff. as you get older, those things stay with you. So you're less likely to seek out new music.
Yeah.
Because the music you were listening to when you were 15, 20 has stuck with you, and you're more likely to just go back and listen to those same old albums.
Do you think like you have more experiences when you're younger than you do when you're older? So that's why
things feel fresher because you're experiencing things for the first time.
Yeah.
Whereas
now everything reminds you of something.
Everything's like a rehash of, that band that just reminds me about other bands. Why don't I just go and listen to the band I listened to before?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a weird one, but we were doing things like we dug our old Facebook lists we put out. So we put.
Do you remember when you used to have notes on Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook Note.
It was like this MySpace bulletin, right? So kind of like a chain letter, I suppose.
Yeah,
vaguely.
Chain email.
Yeah.
So it'd be like 15 minutes, 15 songs,
Yes.
or like shuffle, your top 10 shuffle or whatever. So you'd hit shuffle on your MP3 player or whatever, or your mini disc or whatever it was you were listening to.
So we had this, it was like 15 Desert Island discs or whatever, 15 favourite albums. We filled this in myself and Ross, because we've been Facebook friends for years.
He deep dived into my Facebook. I didn't even know it was still there.
I went on a bit of a research kick, but we found these old notes where we'd filled in when we were early 20s, 20 whatever, our 15 favourite albums. And then we read those out on the podcast and we said, if you were to make a new list today, 15 favourite albums, how many would be on that same list? For me, it was like 13 of those albums. Because those are the ones that got in your bones. Those are the ones that...
it's a good way to put it.
Think of the things... Yeah, the things you were doing at the time were like some of the best nights out or the best gigs, whereas now going to a gig is, less... I want to say less fun. It's not. It's less exhilarating.
Yeah.
When you're younger, you're like... Right, we're drinking, we're out all day, we're out all night, we're
new
going
friends,
mental,
new experiences,
we're like hyper, jumping around, and we're crazy. Whereas now it's like, we'll go out for something to eat, we'll have a few pints, I'm working tomorrow. So the excitement level, you're not like frothing with excitement. You're like, this is cool, I like this, this is good. Whereas when you're younger, you're just like wound up, ready to go.
It's less impactful. I mean, because anything over time, the more you do it, the less impactful it is.
Yeah.
See, your first few gigs you go to are completely exhilarating. It's brand new. It's fresh.
Yeah.
By the time you get to our age and you've been to a couple of hundred gigs or whatever over the years, it's like, okay, no, it's cool. I've done it before.
Yeah. You used to get excited about those experiences, looking forward to it weeks in advance. Whereas now it's like, oh yeah, this should be a good gig.
But I mean, I went to a gig last night, and I've reached that age now where obviously I had to travel to London at 6 o'clock to see this gig. This gig was on at 8.
Right.
And I'm thinking, it's cold outside, it's raining. 3:30, I was sat there in my dressing gown, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
And I was having a cup of tea and I was watching something on YouTube and I was like, I've got to go to London. And
it's like, really want to do
I've got to go to London. I've been looking forward to this for weeks.
Like it's an appointment you've made or somebody's made for you. Like you bought the ticket.
I've got the ticket, I should go. But I really enjoy the gig. I still enjoy gigs. I still enjoy music. But...
You don't enjoy it the same way?
No, not in the same way. It's an adult way of enjoying things.
That list, I was really happy with it. I think I said to you, it's like I in my early 20s, I was very keen to impress cool people.
Yeah.
So I was scared when you pulled this list out that there was going to be albums I actually hadn't even listened to. I just put them on there because somebody cool was going to listen to them. And I was quite happy that I was like, I have all of those albums and I know at least like 3, 4, 5 songs or whatever it is. So that's another thing as well. When you're young, you're trying to force your footprint, your fingerprint in the world, and you're trying to force yourself to be something that you think you should be. And when you get to your 30s, you're not who you thought you would be, but that's still okay.
Yeah, you change, don't you? And what you want out of life changes. Now, when I was 20s or whatever, some of the people I knew that were in their 30s, I thought, your life's boring. Like, why are you? Why aren't you doing what I'm doing? Because what I'm doing is the best. And then you get to that age, and you're like, okay, now I can understand.
Comfort is so much more important now. Like, because you feel a bit more fragile in your 30s. You've gone through the ringer a few times. You feel a bit more tired, do you know what I mean? You just age, it's the aging process. So those little comfort things, like a night in and a cup of tea, are more important. when you're 20, you feel invincible. You go out, you drink every night, do whatever.
Yeah.
Can't do that now. Your body can't keep up.
I think the only thing for me that's changed is drinking. I can't. I can drink just as much as I used to drink, but I can't deal with that the next day as well. So I just don't. I could used to drink a bottle of vodka before I went out, and then the next morning I'd feel a little bit rough, but I'd be fine. Whereas now, that'd be 2 or 3 days.
So 3-day hangover.
Happened to me last weekend. Saturday, went out all day, drinking and smoking.
Well, the weather was nice though.
The weather was nice because I was sitting outside in the beer garden. And then 2 or 3 days just wasn't feeling quite
right.
No energy. Like, oh god, everything's shit. And cycle. I think the thing that's had a big impact with alcohol is mentally.
Yeah, your psychology. Yeah,
just not. Yeah. Although I'm a bit tired and drained or whatever, it's like just feeling like everything's a bit shit.
Yeah.
But I know it's because of booze.
Yeah, the post-drink blues. Yeah.
Like, I know
lots of people get like really weird about that. Like now, even when they're in their 30s, it's like they have this anxiety. It's like, what did I do last night?
Definitely affects.
What did I say?
Your
why
outlook.
did I do? Yeah.
It has, alcohol has an effect on your mental well-being. And I think that's the thing that's I could struggle through feeling ill, but mentally it's like I if I'm not feeling good or positive, then I'm just not going to do anything, and I can't afford to not do anything. So but I mean, it's just having a bit of intelligence now. I understand that. So don't do it.
I think part of it as you get older as well, the expectations are there that you act like an adult, and so if you go out on a big drinking session, you start behaving a certain way. The next day you're like, I should be past this. I shouldn't be doing that sort of thing anymore. 36, 37, I shouldn't be drinking like that. There's like an inherited guilt about it.
One of those problems is like main media. I remember reading something like the Telegraph or something, and it was like a checklist of the ways that you're supposed to behave at certain ages and things that you're supposed to have achieved and stuff. And for a lot of people, like that stays with them. And like you should be able to in your 30s go out and have a drink, and if you want to fall down, like but. It's a bit rough the next day. Now you're in your 30s, But I forgot how we got there. But we're gonna go away and figure it out and come back because it is nice. And we've had over we got 2,000 plays.
Yeah,
which I think's quite nice.
Yeah, that's
considering we're like unedited. Sort of slapdash way of putting it together.
We put a couple of Facebook things out. We haven't really spent a lot of money.
Oh no, we spent the minimum. When they give you, because you do it, obviously. I imagine you do sponsored posts.
Not for the podcast.
Do you not?
No, I should do.
Oh well, but if it works, then don't.
I mean, if I did, it'd be more popular. I imagine if I did it properly.
So maybe I should do it.
Yeah. So
they give you like 10 quid. To just like do some like 30 days, like £1 a day or whatever, or 30, whatever it is. And I didn't see much of a result from that. I don't think it works.
I think Facebook ads and Google ads as well. They can be they can be really effective, but you've got to spend time looking at the numbers, understanding the demographics,
the data and stuff.
If you want to do it, you can make it work.
See, we're both analysts, so
we
probably should have been able to do it, but we couldn't figure it out.
Just watch them. Just go on YouTube and look at some videos. They'll help you out. And I found, because I'd run Google ads and Facebook ads for the studio. And have done for years. I just rang Google and said,
"Oh, really?
Can we go through my AdWords stuff?" And then do that, and then they'll say ring back in a couple of months, and then you ring back and train. And it's free advice. So I mean, really? Facebook will probably have a similar service.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe email them or whatever, or contact them. Yeah. But they're keen. They're keen to help you understand it, because if you understand it, you'll spend more money.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
So that would be worth it.
We
to
talked
make it more
about
effective.
What was Gary talking about? Meta tags. Do you know what a meta tag is?
Yeah.
So in the early days of the internet, using Ask Jeeves and stuff, companies would hide words on their homepage.
On the pages,
So
when it's indexed, it's more relevant. Yeah.
So that was quite interesting.
You can't. That doesn't work now.
Does it not work now?
No, you can't do that.
Okay.
Well, you can do it, but the bot that Google uses to search your website doesn't pay attention to that, because people, if your website is about photography, they're just copy in
Yeah.
5,000 keywords to do with photography,
and
so
hide
that
it in
it'd
the-
appear more relevant.
hide it in
they're
the
smart to it.
JavaScript or whatever
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
So we don't know.
Matrix.
The Matrix, yeah. Did you, Geoff visited the Matrix? Gary, on our technology episode, he's just a technology fanboy. Any new technology, he studies it in great depth, and he's got like an Oculus Rift, which is a 3D gaming console, like specifically built for 3D. And you can fly over the Grand Canyon using Google Earth and stuff.
Wow. Yeah.
And that was amazing. But like, YouTube tells you how best to interact with most things. You see that guy who built a house. He built his own house just using YouTube videos.
No.
Yep. I'm not sure if it's still standing. It might be a Three Little Pigs situation. I don't know, where it's just been blown down. But he built a house.
Did his own electrics and
electrics, plumbing.
Wow.
I'm not surprised. I mean, if you've got the time and resources, you can. Well, that's how I do it. Video editing.
Yeah.
I've never
Also
done
taught.
it before. Googled it on YouTube, and then and just like how to have text credits at the end of the video, and somebody's made a video.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's not difficult. I can work it out. I haven't had any training in that. Talking about technology, it's something I heard the other day. A friend of mine, they've got one of those little Amazon Dot or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
And they're talking to it, Alexa, do this, do that. And they've got a little daughter who's about 18 months, maybe 2 years. And she started talking to it, saying, Alexa, like talking to thingy. And so my mate said, oh, well, we stopped using it because we didn't like that. And I thought,
a conversation she was having.
because it's like her parents are talking to it and it's responding. It's a person.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't she think that it's a real thing? And it's like, how weird and that feels a bit sinister. Why? That's exactly what she'd think. Of course she'd think that that's a person. And then when she starts trying to have a conversation with it, it's like, this is getting dangerous and weird.
I'm not comfortable with that at all. We covered it a little bit, and it's like a HAL situation, like a Space Odyssey situation.
Yeah,
You're
strange.
I don't want to have somebody be able to predict what I'm doing in my own house. And then be able to monitor it in some way. I've got like a bit of a sort of a suspicion technology. I'm a little bit of a suspicious technology.
You want to be in control.
The worst case I've had of that is our boiler broke. Mine and Vic's boiler broke, and we had the conversation via text message about fixing it. And I opened up my Facebook app, and there was a boiler advert. And I'm not even using that app, but I'm using my phone in my house, and I've had
creepy.
that.
It's all connected. Whenever I can, or wherever I can, I just sort of disable all the ad search filters, and so it doesn't use any. But then
disable what?
You can stop it from using your stuff to show you relevant ads.
Oh.
And then I use like an ad blocker, and then an ISP hider and all this sorts of stuff.
On your phone?
On the computer.
Oh, so
but in your Google settings and Facebook settings, you can select what it does.
Oh, okay.
But you have to. I mean, in reality,
you can YouTube it.
Yeah, just look for it on YouTube. But also, like, why am I doing that? And
should I have to?
I just don't like the idea that they're using information that I don't know about to then show me stuff. But in reality, why is that a problem? Why do I care? Why am I going out of my way to do this?
It's just one of those things, how things have changed since we were
I really need a wee. Can I go for a wee?
Go.
Thanks.
I've
had 2 coffees in that.
Just like how things have changed so drastically, the way we protect our data, or we were so secretive. I guess I don't know if that's a word, secretive, but so protective. When we were younger. And now suddenly the boom of the internet, data is just free, isn't it? And I don't know. It's strange. You give up so much, don't you? But you do get stuff back. I mean, you get free services. Facebook is free. Google is free. And I suppose they expect a certain amount back. But it's a big mindset change to when I was younger, I would never, start talking to strangers. You grew up not talking to strangers. Whereas now you're giving up a lot of personal information.
People you don't know, or maybe not even people, robots or whatever code is analysing your text and showing you relevant ads. Probably no human ever reads that. However, I don't like the idea. The option is either show them everything or show them nothing.
Yeah.
And I feel more comfortable with showing them nothing. Now, I might be missing out on things that might benefit me, perhaps, if like Ross's situation, I've got a leak and I need a plumber.
Yeah.
It probably would benefit me to see an ad for a plumber who might be really good and sort it out. But yeah, it's just that control and that not knowing, and there's obviously far too much data on your phone and on your accounts for you to be able to be out individual.
Keep track of all of it's so vast, the amount of information that you could potentially give up.
Yeah.
How do you keep track of that? I mean, are you happy for a company to know what gender you are or where you are location wise and your age? But then how far does it drill down? What are companies getting from you? Are they picking out keywords out of text messages you're sending? What they're tracking on Facebook, what you're liking, all of that kind of thing. Yeah. There's levels of data, isn't there?
Definitely.
I don't know.
Yeah, but then like you say, it's difficult to bring that in. Good piss.
Hi guys. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it takes longer when you're older, doesn't it?
Did you wash your hands?
Yeah, wash my hands.
It's data. It's all weird. But then I'm saying about how much I try to not let these companies search my results or whatever. But then I'm doing 120 odd podcasts and I'm being totally honest and telling everyone everything.
Yeah.
So that's on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's on iTunes. That's searchable and scan. And there probably is software that can scan it and
flag words.
Actually get text from my audio words. I'm sure that exists somewhere. So what am I doing really? Just fuck it. Just let them have everything.
There has to be that facility, because when you first do your first couple of podcasts, it takes longer for them to put it out.
Yeah.
So I imagine they do have software that analyses audio.
Maybe. Yeah. I imagine that's probably true.
Isn't it amazing, like technology-wise, we spoke a bit about this on our technology episode, how things have changed in our lifetime. If you just take a step back and think about where you are with technology, we're having these conversations.
Explain to 6-year-old Geoff.
Yeah, 10 years.
What you do now.
Even 10 years ago, if you went back 10 years and talked about what we're talking about now, it would seem impossibly futuristic, like science fiction almost.
My favourite, we had a 22-year-old lad, Jordan, on ours. 21, 22?
Yeah.
Interesting guy. He finds he's disillusioned with social media. Yeah. But he's grown up in only a social media age. Yeah. And he was saying that it's like people are weird, and he was saying Geoff said when Geoff did his first year of university, he didn't have access to the internet.
Yeah.
And it was like, mind blowing.
How do you get information? Fucking library.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you had to order a book from a different library to come in.
What did we do before? And it seems impossibly alien now. We would have to go to a library, find a book, read the book, get the facts out of the book.
And some books you can't take out of the library because there's only one copy and other students need it. It's like...
Or it's too heavy.
Yeah, it's too heavy.
Yeah.
Which is why
he said, he was like, well, what do you do? He's like, read a book. He's like, well, what if you didn't find out what you needed to? He's like, well, that's tough, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's just...
You put the work in and you read it.
Yeah.
You don't Control F search for the word.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, no, you search for it with your fucking eyes by reading the book. Yeah. Or you use an index or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
It's a weird one. But this vague sense of confusion that you walk around with in your 30s, part of it is just getting older and you're not as confident about things perhaps as you were in your 20s. Yeah. But in our lifetime, I think with us being in our 30s, the internet we had before and after, and other generations haven't had that in their 30s. They would have either had it or not had it.
Yeah.
We've had that change in our lifetime.
Yeah.
And so it's just added to the confusion, I think, because things have happened so quickly. You think about where we are with technology, we've had to take all that on and absorb all of that, as well as dealing with the day-to-day as well.
Yeah, but I think that's a benefit. I think of not having it and then having it. Yeah. We understand
the value
that going to a library. Do you know what I mean? We know how.
So if the world burned down.
Yeah,
you might be all right.
We could survive in a library in the wild. No, but it's like we know how powerful it is. Whereas somebody who's only had it is like, well, this is how it's always been. It's never been harder than this.
It's a crutch.
Yeah. I think constant sense of confusion is a good place to end the podcast. I think really. So, do you know how long you taken away from your podcast?
I've got a holiday in a couple of weeks, so that's at least 2 weeks.
Excellent.
I've got to try and move house.
You've got to move house.
Oh, mate, stressful.
Yeah. Part of growing up, though, right?
Yeah.
And you're moving further away from the general population.
Yeah.
He's moved to a tiny village.
Oh, good.
We're just getting away as far away from people as possible.
Yeah. Eventually, it will be a cabin in the woods.
Yeah. It'd be lovely.
definitely.
Yeah.
With no modem. So yeah, probably like a month.
A month-ish. Okay.
Ish.
Well, I'll put the links to the iTunes and SoundCloud stuff in the podcast show notes. But it's a great podcast.
Thanks,
It's good
Josh.
to see you doing
Thanks,
it, man.
man.
It's good to see it going, and it's nice to see that it's really long episodes.
Oh, do you like that?
Yeah, I prefer that.
What I sort of learn about podcasting is people don't like that.
Yeah, but the good people do.
Yeah, I think it
people like
helps to stand out a bit because there's so many punchy podcasts at 45 minutes long, an hour long. Whereas this is something different where we are exploring, we are trying to get to the bottom of these human truths.
Yeah.
And that takes time.
Yeah.
You know, it takes time to talk these
Definitely.
things through.
I think that's where you get the meat on the bones is when you're half an hour, 45 minutes plus. I think that's when you get some really good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's really good.
Thanks, buddy.
No worries. And you're always welcome back whenever you want to come back on.
Cheers.
You're kind of an inspiration in a way. What's that like?
Oh, it's what... that's what it's
Put him
like.
on the spot.
Yeah.
Confusion.
No, it's nice. No, I mean, well, thank you. But it's... similar to what we were saying a minute ago, if you've got a phone and a laptop, you can do anything.
Yeah.
That's really all it is.
Well, that's what I asked you when I first started having a crack at it last year. I was like, what do you do? And he goes, I just started with a
Just
phone,
record
mate.
it.
Just go for it.
Just go. Yeah, I mean, you can heavily edit it and, you know, you can do all this stuff and you can have a team or you can have a cameraman and camera person and microphone and all this shit. But, I like the fact that it's just me because you can do what you want.
Yeah.
Or it's just you two. You've got the freedom. It does mean you do have to do more of the work. And maybe the production value suffers a bit because you haven't got an expert doing the camera and an expert doing the audio. But you gain that in freedom. So
It's human.
I think the only thing the only advice I have, not that you ask for advice, but the only advice I give to anyone who wants to do a podcast is just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Just keep going. Just do it. Be consistent. Consistency is the key.
Especially as you're further away, it would be a way for us to hang out.
Yeah, will we? Yeah. Perhaps we can do it over Skype.
Oh, hold on, Geoff.
It's possible.
Let's not get ridiculous.
Yeah.
You have to show me how Skype works and what Skype is.
I've seen you use your
Buy my
phone. There's
computer.
no way you can use Skype.
Sky now. I don't understand it.
Okay.
Cool.
Well,
Thanks,
thanks for
buddy.
coming in, boys. I appreciate it.
Cheers.
Awesome.
Don't know what that is.
So there it was, the Josh Astrop podcast, episode number 118 with the lads from All My Friends Are Dead podcast. I'll put a link to that show in this podcast show notes. This will also be available on a video download. If you're not already watching it on YouTube, just head over to the channel there. If you want to follow us, if you want to like us, if you want to get involved with what we're doing on every platform, just look for the Josh Astrop podcast. Nice and simple. But the links to all of those things are in the show notes anyway. So, Ross and Geoff, awesome dudes. I've known Ross a very long time, probably 25 years, maybe, something like that. So it's always nice to catch up. And as we get older, that happens less frequently. So it's really good to sort of get together and talk about podcasting, this thing that we do that we enjoy. And it's interesting to see their podcast doing so well. They put a lot of time into it. And yeah, they're really good. They're having some really informative conversation, some discussion about real life. Not necessarily about, self-improvement or, how to get ahead in life and all that sort of stuff. They're talking about regular, everyday things and problems that everyone has. And I get a lot from listening to people who have similar problems to me, because you can quite often feel alone or that, or you have the thought like, why am I struggling with this? And everyone else seems to be getting on okay. So it's always reassuring to hear other people also think and stress about the same things, but there are some solutions. So sometimes if whatever you're doing isn't working, somebody else might have a good one for you. So I think that's what I get from their podcast. And they're thoroughly nice guys and genuine and honest. That's also a really good thing about those two chaps. That it's not sugar-coated. They're not saying something to look cool. They're not biting their tongue if they want to say something. But they're never offensive. You know, they do a good job of being honest and maybe saying something that they aren't sure if it's un-PC or not, but they'll say it anyway and explain that. So I think that's the only way we're going to get around all of these, particularly in this time, day and age, with new terms and words that you can and can't use. And that does seem to be changing quite quickly. And I'd argue it's impossible to stay on top of that all the time. Inevitably, you're going to say a word that yesterday is no longer an acceptable term for whatever you're talking about. So it's nice to hear people talking about those things and saying perhaps the wrong thing, but then talking about that rather than not talking about it at all, shying away from it, which I must admit I have a habit of doing that. So maybe I need to be a bit more open about these things that are perhaps seen to be controversial. Without discussing them, I'm not going to work them out. So yeah, that's just a lesson I've learned from those two guys. Yeah, follow their podcast. It's in the show notes. Follow this podcast. All the links are in the show notes. Video on YouTube if you're not watching there already. That's it. I think that's it. Thank you for listening. Feel free to subscribe or like or follow or share or whatever you want to do, however you would like to share or show your appreciation for the show. Yeah, that's it. That's great. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you to Ross and Geoff. This has been the Josh Astrop podcast, episode number 118 with All My Friends Are Dead. We will see you next Wednesday.